All right, happy Wednesday, everybody. So we've got another full 15 game slate. It's getaway day. Got to be careful. Let's jump right into the recap. All right, so KC, New York over 8.5. That did not happen. New York did not show up to the party. Milwaukee, San Francisco. This one looked really good. We had 3 runs in the first inning. Pretty good. We got 2 more the rest of the game, so that sucked. San Diego, Seattle over 7. They ended up getting, I think, 10. So San Diego won, I believe, 7-3, something like that. Cubs first 5. We ended up, they were down 2-1 after 5. So GG there. That kind of stinks. Tampa Bay, Philly over 7.5. That cashed easy. Cubs, Dodgers over 7.5 ended up being a pretty easy cash, although it didn't look good for a while. And the Reds first 5, one of my favorite plays yesterday. That smashed. That was pretty nice. They ended up winning 3-0. So good job, Cincy. Parlays, the Mets ended up letting us down in this one, so that cost us the first one. We did end up hitting the Minnesota, Cleveland, Boston, Atlanta, and Detroit. Boston cost us there. So unfortunately, we had just kind of one game that kind of screwed us in those. Really good on the picks though, 10-5. We hit 7 of our first 8, so it's going to be a decent day when you can do that. The damn Mets, man, what the hell? We knew Peterson was due for some regression. Was just kind of hoping it wasn't going to be that game, but it kind of finally happened. He didn't get rocked, but he did get beat. Fun parlay. Man, we almost hit this little 6-legger. Again, the Mets. Mets cost us a 6-leg. That would have been cool. Upset parlay. Miami ended up losing, and that was it. So that sucks. Yeah. All right. So would have hit the upset parlay too. Dang. Just kind of dawned on me there. All right. Anyway. Prop leans, Yamamoto, dude, he ended up striking out 5 people in like less than 2 innings. Come on, Cubbies. Damn. Beto didn't end up pitching, so that was void. Arrighetti only gave up 2 earned runs, not 3. Lindor smashed this in the first inning, so that was pretty quick. He got a hit and scored, so went right through that. Suarez ended up getting, I believe, a hit. Anyway, he didn't hit it. Stowers ended up with 2 hits, so easily went over that, and Stroman got 2 Ks. So we went 3-3 on the props, 2-1 on the Nerfies, and then leans I was looking at, we went 1-1. Atlanta just absolutely went insane with the offense and crushed this under 8 on their own. So glad I didn't play that. All right, hot and cold, not much to talk about really. Got a couple of hot pitcher matchups. Irvin versus the Braves, 12 for 61. So not a massive sample size here, but 197 average. Lance Lynn versus the Reds, 227. So nothing major there. Bullpen, everybody's in decent shape. Nothing I'm too worried about today, so we don't have to go there. Standings, it is important to keep in mind we got a lot of off days tomorrow, so I did put those in. There's only 8 games tomorrow, but 8 pretty important games. So we look at the Red Sox. They really need to win today. They've got a big matchup coming against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. So 4 games back of the wild card, 17 left to play. Every game is Game 7 of the World Series for them. So they're going to be going hard at wins. Can't really afford to take their foot off the pedal. If we look at the Yankees, they are up on the Orioles by a half a game, despite yesterday's loss. So again, important game for the Yankees today that they need to beat the Royals. If we look at the Guardians, they are getting a pretty firm lead here in the Central. They're up 3.5. They've got another game against the White Sox today, and then they play the Rays at home tomorrow. So they don't get an off day. We look at Kansas City. They get an off day tomorrow. So their bullpen's in pretty decent shape. They've got Colt Reagans on the hill. I like them today. Let's see. We look at Detroit. They get to go play the Rockies again tomorrow. So in pretty good shape there. 3 games back of the wild card. They need to make a serious push here. We look at the Astros. They're going to be playing another game against the Athletics tomorrow. Mariners will be playing the Rangers at home tomorrow. Let's see. What do we got? In the East, almost everybody's off except for 2 teams that are completely out of it, so it's irrelevant. Brewers are really just kind of cruising in, but they play the Giants again tomorrow. In the West, really not much going on there. All those teams are off tomorrow, so we can really see teams kind of not be afraid to go to their bullpens early if pitchers are struggling because of the off day tomorrow. So should kind of help keep some of the scores down a little bit. All right, first game on the slate here, Marlins and the Pirates. It is getaway day for the Marlins, the greatest team in the history of baseball on getaway days. I can't back them. Like, I know I should. I know I'm gonna come on here tomorrow and be like, what the hell was I thinking, man? But they've got Jonathan Bermudez. I've also seen Adam Mazur. So two pitchers that I don't like. Going up against Bailey Falter for the Pirates. Pirates have just been absolutely smacking them around. If it is Mazur, if it's Bermudez, I just don't like it. Bermudez is a better matchup because he's a lefty. Pirates do struggle against lefties. So my thought is, could they be using Bermudez as an opener? He's really only gone 2-3 innings, and then go to Mazur. I'm not sure. But if we look at Falter, he's got a 4.19 home ERA. 12 earned runs in his last 3 starts, 10 earned runs in his last 3 home starts. Is there a path for the Marlins to win this? Yes. Neither team is hitting left-handed pitching really well. This is just more of a fade. If it is a Marlins bullpen day, they are pretty bad. They've got a 5.10 ERA, one of the worst bullpens in baseball. So way the Pirates are rolling right now, yeah, I like them. Could I see the Marlins potentially getting an early lead off Falter and Pirates' inability to hit lefties? Yeah, maybe. Just ultimately, I'm not touching this game, but I would lean Pirates. All right, next game, Guardians and White Sox. Game we are definitely on. Matthew Boyd going up against Davis Martin. I like this Martin kid. He's pretty decent. That said, he's on a pretty bad team. Matthew Boyd has looked really good lately. He has been lights out. We can see he's got a 173 opponent batting average. He pitched extremely well in his last 2 games, so I love him to dominate. We look at the White Sox just absolutely struggling against left-handed pitching. 178 over the last 14 days, 136 over the last 7 days. Boyd giving up a 203 average to righties and a .063 average to lefties. So doing really well there. That said, Martin doing pretty well himself, giving up a 200 average to righties, 245 to lefties. So I don't think it's going to be a super high scoring game, especially with the wind blowing in. So I do kind of like the under 8 actually, but yeah, just give me Cleveland. You can take the run line. I think a run line play is pretty safe today. It's just I wish the wind was blowing out a little bit. All right, next game. Mets and the Blue Jays. We were on the Mets yesterday. They stunk. Sean Manaea going up against Bowden Francis. Little surprised this line is the way it is. If we look at Manaea, 2.90 away ERA. Bowden Francis, almost a 5 home ERA. But it's just more looking at recent trends. We look at Manaea, he's given up 13 earned runs in his last 5 starts. We look at Bowden Francis, he's given up 5 earned runs in his last 5 starts. 3 of those came in his last start versus Philly. So clearly the books are seeing some potential regression there today. We're not really seeing the Mets hitting right-handed pitching all that well over the last 2 weeks, over the last 7 days. So a little confused by that. If we look at Bowden Francis, I guess the angle would be he does have 21 innings pitched at home. He has given up 9 earned runs and 13 hits. So there is that path, I guess, to see him get hit. We've got some cat meowing action going on here. All right, but he's been super solid. He's only given up 12 hits in his last 5 starts. Philly had half of those. So the previous 4 starts, he had given up 6 hits. So bit of a struggling Mets offense at times. Pitch splits for Manaea don't look great. That said, neither of them are giving up very strong averages. So Manaea has only given up a 200 average to lefties, which makes sense because he's a lefty. 170 to righties. Francis giving up a sub 1 to lefties and righties. So should be a very interesting game. The under is favored, and I think that's warranted. So maybe if you don't want to pick a winner, I would lean towards the under. I just kind of like Toronto in this situation, though. All right, next game. Rangers and the D-backs. Cody Bradford going up against Merrill Kelly. Saw the D-backs get the job done yesterday. They blanked the Rangers. Merrill Kelly started off the season pretty rough. 16 earned runs. That said, he's starting to turn the curve a little bit. Essentially, I think the first couple of games more like spring training for him. That said, he's got an expected ERA of 6.06, so we'll have to see. But last start was against the Giants. Pretty good, 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. Again, Giants, a team that's not exactly strong with the sticks. We look at Cody Bradford. Been pretty good. His home ERA is 2.57. I didn't do his away just because he really hasn't pitched a ton of away, but pitched a lot more games at home. Just kind of gives you an idea. I think he is kind of in that 2.5, 3.5 ERA range. He's given up 4 earned runs in his last 3 starts, 2 earned runs in his last 2 away starts. So he's pitched pretty good away. That said, he's a lefty. D-backs have been hitting lefties okay, right? 300 average over the last 2 weeks, only 200 over the last week. So I lean Diamondbacks, just a better team, more potent offense. All right, next game, Rockies, Tigers. I've seen 2 pitchers here, and it really does vary for me. I've seen Ryan Feltner and I've seen Tanner Gordon. If Tanner Gordon is pitching, which I would say it's highly likely he is, then I'm Team Tigers all day. If it's Feltner, it kind of changes things for me. I'm probably more like Rockies run line. Take the 1.5 with Feltner. He's been pitching really, really well. But like I said, if it's Gordon, guys, not good. 8.69 away ERA. He's given up 11 earned runs in his last 4, so I don't like that. Casey Mize has been okay. He's not a great pitcher, although we saw Keter Montero look like an absolute Cy Young yesterday when they blanked him 11-0. But Mize has given up 6 earned runs in his last 2 games since he's returned from injury, but he did face the Padres and Boston, so 2 pretty potent offenses. The only thing that scares me, right, if it is Feltner, Tigers have not gotten an earned run off the last 2 left-handed pitchers. So I'm a little shocked Feltner's not pitching. It definitely gives them the best chance to win. But if it's Gordon, it's Pound Town Tigers. They should absolutely wipe the floor with the Rockies. All right, Rays and the Phillies. Shane Baz going up against Zach Wheeler. Baz has been really good. He's only given up 3 earned runs in his last 3 starts, 7 earned runs in his last 4 away starts. So it's been very, very good. That said, Zach Wheeler at home, really can't bet against him. 2.27 home ERA. He's only given up 3 earned runs in his last 3 home starts, and that was against the Braves, the Astros, and the Nats. 6 earned runs in his last 5 starts. He's just different. He's built different at home. That says Baz pitching really well. He's got a 4.15 expected ERA, but he doesn't pitch like that. He's got a .088 earned average to lefties, so he's throwing very well against lefties. 283 to righties. Zach Wheeler 221 to lefties, 173 to righties. Only concern about Baz, he does give up some hard hit. He's got a 42.4% hard hit percentage. Wind is going to be blowing out slightly today, so I do like the Phillies in this spot. Hit some home runs, score some runs. Pitch splits for Baz just don't look great. Phillies are 5th in the fastball over the last 30 days, 6th in the slider, 10th in the curveball. So top 10 in the majority of the pitches that he throws. All right, next game, Braves and the Nationals. Max Fried going up against Jake Irvin. We talked about earlier, Irvin's got some decent success against this lineup. Max Fried's got a 3.19 away ERA. Irvin about a 5 home ERA. Irvin's been pretty decent away, has not been too good at home. If we look at Washington, they've gotten 12 earned runs versus the last 4 left-handed starters. So they face Bailey Walter, Jordan Wicks, Shota Imanaga, and Carlos Rodon. So they have been hitting the lefties. There is that. That said, Fried's been pitching really, really well. He's only given up 6 earned runs in his last 4 games against Toronto, at Philly, at Minnesota, and against Philly again. So 3 pretty good teams in there that he's been able to lock down. If we look at his 1 outing against Washington in May, 7 innings, no earned runs, 6 Ks. If we look at Irvin, pitched recently at Atlanta, but like we talked about, he's better away than he is at home. That was on August 24th, 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 Ks. So definitely like the Braves in this spot for sure. If we look at Irvin in his last 4 games, he's given up 19 earned runs, 16 in his last 3 home games. So take with that what you will. That is also including the Cubs, who were absolutely lights out for that week and a half span. So Pitch splits for Fried, right? Nats are hitting second over the last 30 days against lefty fastballs. So I guess there's an angle. There's an angle here. I got to go Braves. All right, Royals, Yankees. Luis Gil going up against Cole Reagans. Reagans got about a 3 away ERA. Gil about a 3 home ERA. If we look at Reagans, no earned runs in his last start versus Minnesota. He's given up 10 earned runs in his last 4, 9 earned runs in his last 4 away starts. We look at Gil, no earned runs in his last game against Chicago, 7 earned runs in his last 4 starts, 5 earned run in his last 4 home starts. So he's been pitching really well at home. My only concern here is the Yankees against left-handed pitching. If we look at the last 4 left-handed pitchers that have thrown against the Yankees, they've all been losses, and they've only scored 5 earned runs. So Jordan Wicks had a good day. Andrew Haney had a good day. Mackenzie Gore pitched really well. Patrick Corbin pitched really well. So really struggled to get to what I would consider to be 4 very average to below average pitchers. Now you've got one of the AL leading strikeout pitchers on the hill in Cole Reagans. I just don't like that spot for them. And we're coming off a Royals win. Given where the Royals are, I think they're going to go pretty hard here. I like them in this spot. Gil is definitely hittable. We've seen him have outings where he has just gotten absolutely rocked. He's given up a 250 average to lefties, 250 to righties. Reagans 188 to righties, 273 to lefties. Angels, Twins. Actually changed this. I like the Angels though. I like the Angels, but everything I'm seeing, everything pinpoints to the Twins. Kochanowicz going up against, hey, I got that shit right. Going up against Zebby Matthews. Kochanowicz, oh yeah, we're nailing it. 4.5 away ERA. Matthews a 9 home ERA. It's really, really hard to back Zebby Matthews at home at minus 205. Like stupid hard. If we look at Kochanowicz, 8 earned runs in his last 4 games, 6 earned runs in his last 3 away games. We look at Zebby Matthews, 4 earned runs and 9 earned runs in his last 2 games. So he gave up 4 to KC, gave up to 9 to Toronto, and those 9 came real early. Ugh, I really want to take the Angels, but everything, I like it. Twins are just such a ridiculously high favorite. All the Matthews props are heavily juiced to the over, or to the under, in terms of his hits, his earned runs. It's kind of crazy. So I'm just kind of trusting the books here. The line's just too weird. But I definitely think you can make a play on the Angels. But not a game I want to touch whatsoever. The only thing I do want to touch in this game is the over. There's got to be runs scored. Just have to be. One of these 2 pitchers is going to give up a ton of runs. Orioles, Red Sox. Dean Kramer going up against Nick Pivetta. If you look at Kramer, a 4.26 away ERA. Pivetta, a 4.61 home ERA. That said, Pivetta's only had 1 home start since July 29th, and that was his last outing where he gave up 1 earned run. So he pitched really well there. Kramer, not a great career ERA versus the Red Sox. He's got almost a 6.5 career ERA. He's got 6 games pitched between 2022 and 2023. So 30 innings pitched in total, giving up 17 earned runs. So not great there. If we look at Kramer, he's given up 14 earned runs in his last 4 away games, 8 earned runs in his last 4. So he's actually started off the year pitching really good. Well, I shouldn't say started off the year. Since the break, he was pitching really good away, not so good at home. And then all of a sudden that trend kind of flipped. Now he's pitching better at home than he is away. So it's kind of interesting there. Pivetta, the only scary thing about Pivetta is the long ball. This guy gives up a 70% fly ball percentage. He is a fly ball pitcher. The wind is going to be blowing in from the west, so it's not going to be blowing out. I could definitely see the over hitting in this game. I would lean Red Sox, and there has been heavy movement towards the Red Sox. I think the Red Sox are now at like minus 142. So this line has shifted dramatically. Oh, damn it. Another one where I was kind of leaning Orioles and kept doing research and ended up going Red Sox. All right. Next game. Reds and Cards. We were on the Reds yesterday. You got Lance Lynn making a return, small hiatus there, going up against Brandon Williamson. Williamson's only pitched 2 games this year. He's looked okay, 8 innings, 2 earned runs, 6 Ks versus the Mets and the Brewers. So pretty decent teams. He's pitched well. We look at Lance Lynn. He's pitched 12 innings versus the Reds already this year. He's only given up 1 earned run and struck out 11. That was in 1 home and 1 away start. So kind of that MO though. It's Lance Lynn, very similar stats to Palante. They both throw very, very heavy fastballs. So 63% fastball for Lynn. We're not really seeing this Cardinals offense do anything. They're batting 100 over the past week, 212 over the past 14 days. So I'll take the Reds again. I like Williamson on the hill. They're just not, the Cardinals are not hitting lefties. So I got to prove it. All right, A's, Astros. We were on the A's yesterday. That was a pretty wild one. Ironically, once they said Beto was out, I ended up placing some Houston bets and had a pretty nice one that just came down to Houston winning, and they screwed it. So that was cool. They ended up losing in the 12th inning. Joey Estes going up against Hunter Brown. Pretty massive pitching disparity here. If we look at Hunter Brown, he has pitched 5 games versus this Athletics team since 2023. 3-0 with a 1.80 ERA. So dude has been pretty lights out against this team. If we look, he did pitch against them in July 24th at Oakland. 6 innings, 8 hits, 1 earned run. So a decent amount of hits, but didn't give up a lot of runs. If we look at Joey Estes, he pitched against this Houston team in Houston in May. Did not go well. 3.2 innings pitched, 8 hits, 8 earned runs. So I love the Athletics to lose this game today. I think Hunter Brown should hold them down. Estes should get the job done. The over is favored in this game. So I can definitely see, playing like maybe a Houston team total over 4.5. That's definitely something I was looking at as well. All right, Padres, Mariners, Brian Woo going up against Michael King. Woo has been pretty good at home, 1.50 home ERA. King has been very good on the road. If we look at Woo, 9 earned runs in his last 4 games, 4 earned runs in his last 3 home games. Michael King did pitch versus Seattle in San Diego in July. Pretty good. 3 hits, 1 earned runs. He's got a 2.08 career ERA versus Seattle since last year. He did pitch in Seattle last May, 0 earned runs. So I like the Padres here in this situation. Woo just very heavy with the fastballs. We see a Padres team that doesn't strike out a lot. Just depends on what Mariners team shows up, right? Pitch splits technically over the last 30 days. Mariners are top 10 in the fastball and the cutter. So could definitely see a path for them to get to King. But the over-under is 7. The under is favorited. I would just lean Padres. They've got the better bullpen. And the Mariners' offense is just too sporadic for me. All right, Brewers, Giants. Colin Rea going up against Blake Snell. Not sure what happened to Snell, but he only went 1 inning in his last outing. That said, he's only given up 5 earned runs in his last 4 games, 2 earned runs in his last 4 home games. We look at Rea, he's given up 9 earned runs in his last 3 games, 7 earned runs in his last 5 away starts. So he's been pitching pretty well away. Snell's been pitching very well at home. We've got a big wind blowing out today. Rea is a fly ball pitcher. Snell is a fly ball pitcher. I would lean Giants. I just think they're due for a game where they kind of open it up offensively a little bit, but I really don't want to touch this. Maybe the over, but I don't want to bet this game. All right, last game on the card, Dodgers and the Cubs. Jordan Wicks going up against Bobby Miller. I am very confused by this line. Bobby Miller has been getting just smacked all around the yard. Last game versus the Angels, 5 innings, 5 hits, 7 earned runs. Given up 17 earned runs in his 4 games back. We look at Wicks, 4 earned runs in 2 games back. And that was against the Yankees and the Nats. And he gave up 3 of those 4 versus the Yankees. So if we look at Wicks, he did face this Dodgers team in April. Went 4.2 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 7 Ks. Just doesn't really make sense to me. Miller's been pitching really bad, so I wouldn't put the Dodgers as minus 185 favorites. It's a little steep for me. I would go Cubs. That's just kind of where I lean with this game. I can see Miller just getting absolutely smacked around very early. look, Dodgers aren't really playing for anything right now. They're just kind of cruising into the postseason. We've seen it lately when teams start hitting their starting pitching early, they just end up pulling their starters and just giving them rest. So very important game for the Cubs, not as important for the Dodgers. Miller, he ain't that guy. So I like them to get the job done today. All right, pitch sheet. It is completed, so you can take a snapshot and see if you agree or not. I did kind of highlight in green here the matchups that I like a lot. So yeah, screenshot that if you like. Best bets for today. We are going Cubs Dodgers over 9. Like I said, just don't trust Bobby Miller, and I don't think Jordan Wicks makes it out unscathed. But I can see Cubs just going unhinged on Bobby Miller and getting 4, potentially 5 runs in the first 5 innings off this guy. That said, the sports books do not feel like he's going to give up a lot. You can see on his prop leans, I took his over 2.5 earned runs at plus 110. So they think he's going to have a decent day. I don't. All right, Angels, Minnesota over 8.5. Again, Kochanowicz, Matthews, one of them should get rocked. I think it's a matter of who, not if. All right, Braves first 5 and the money line. I just like this matchup today. I think Fried pitches pretty well, and I think the Braves are able to get to Irvin. Only thing that scares me is just with that big offensive output yesterday, will we see a letdown? I don't think so, but we'll have to see. So essentially in that bet, they have to be winning or tied. Hopefully winning the first 5 and then win the game. All right, Colorado and Detroit over 8. Again, Tanner Gordon is an earned run machine. Mize is okay. He's probably going to give up 2 earned runs. Cubs team total over 3.5. And then give me Toronto first 5 at plus 100. I think Bowden Francis keeps this team at bay for probably the first 4 or 5 innings. Yeah, plus money. Manaea giving up 2 to 3 earned runs like clockwork. I like it. Parlays I like today. Cleveland and Houston both -1 at plus 134. The Braves, the Tigers, and the Phillies plus 251. And then the Diamondbacks, the Guardians, and Toronto on the run line. So we're taking them plus 1.5 at plus 295. And then our fun parlay is going to be Cleveland, Philly, Tigers, Astros, Diamondbacks, Braves, plus 1,078. Upset parlay today is going to be the Blue Jays, the Royals, and the Reds at plus 892. Prop leans I like Merrill Kelly over 4.5 Ks, Brian Wu under 4.5 Ks, Miller over 2.5 earned runs, Tanner Gordon over 2.5 earned runs, Marte under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs for the Mets, and Lance Lynn over 1.5 based on balls. Nerfies I like Mets and the Blue Jays, the Royals, and the Mets. Wait, what? Royals and the Yankees, and the Padres and the Mariners, but very heavily juiced at -150. You can see on the right some other leans I was looking at. I might pull the trigger on this Rockies first 5 over 1.5. Eyes is just giving up 2 to 3 earned runs like clockwork, but we'll have to see. So that's where I'm at. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Give the video a thumbs up if you haven't yet. Subscribe to the channel. It's free. We are getting pretty close to 200, so I appreciate you guys on that chase to 200. And I'll catch you for some MLB videos tomorrow, and we've got NFL Thursday game, so catch you tomorrow.